Hey everybody, and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So we're here today because January is finally over. Finally over. I feel like January is just like the longest month ever. At least it just feels like the longest month ever. But it's finally done. And I was able to complete 6 books in the month of January. One of them was a library book. One of them's borrowed. One of them was thrifted. One of them I got for Christmas. One was book club. And one was a new one I picked up because I heard about it on Currently Reading. So let's just jump in. First one I completed for the year was The Obsession by Nora Roberts. I really do enjoy a Nora Roberts mystery type book every once in a while. I ended up finding this when we went to the Goodwill outlet, which is like they have all the bins of stuff, and there was a bin in books, and ended up picking this one up. So I don't know, maybe paid $1 for it. This one follows our main character who, I'm trying to think of what her name is. Naomi. She wakes up one night right before a summer like thunderstorm is coming, and that kind of woke her up, and she's a kid, I think she's 12, and ends up looking outside to kind of watch the lightning and stuff, and sees that her dad is walking into the woods. And it is almost her birthday, and she's convinced that her dad is going to like put together the bike that she's been asking for her birthday. So she decides to follow him and to like check it out, you know, like any curious 12-year-old would. So she follows him to the woods and ends up finding that he's going into this like old cellar that was by a like old house or whatever that's on their property. And she's like, yep, for sure he's building a bike, and I'm gonna wait till he comes back because I want to go take a peek at this. So she goes down the steps in the cellar after he leaves and discovers a woman who is chained up and beaten and not in good shape. And she rescues the woman, and the story continues from there. So basically she's finding out that her dad is a sociopath, serial killer, and goes through basically helping his victim escape, turning him in. And then we fast forward into the future as we find her as an adult, and some similar things are reoccurring. So again, Nora Roberts, it's an easy read, it's fast. The middle gets a little slow because that tends to be her MO, but the end wraps up pretty nicely. I mean, it catches you right in, you're invested in the characters. When I see them for cheap, I pick them up, I read them, I have no problem with that. And then we'll pass this on, probably Free Little Library it. So it was a decent read. What did I give it? I'd say like 3.5 stars. Like, it was fine. Then I finally finished up with the Simple Wild series. And so this is Running Wild by K.A. Tucker. This is the 3rd book in the series. This one follows the veterinarian Marie, which is a friend of Jonah that we meet in the 1st book, but it really kind of just follows her. I listened to this book. They're just great winter reads for me for some reason. There's a lot of talk of the Iditarod in this one, and learning about the dog sled kind of business, which I found interesting, and I kind of got into a little bit of a rabbit hole with this one. So I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that I finished up the series. I can now give these back to my friend Kelly. Sorry, Kelly. So we're going to return those. What did I give that? I have my Goodreads up. I want to say, yep, 4 stars for that one. Then I picked up All the Little Raindrops by Mia Sheridan. This is for our January book club book. This one was gifted during our book exchange for book club. 2 people actually gifted this book, so I thought that was pretty interesting. I gave this one 4 stars. This is a thriller. We'll go with that. We have senior year spring break. Noelle and Evan have both been kidnapped, and they don't know why they were chosen other than they share this very tragic past. Evan's father got away with killing Noelle's mother, basically ruining her family when the death was ruled an accident. Despite this connection, they're forced to kind of unite to be able to survive this kidnapping. I'm trying not to give anything away. They eventually make a harrowing escape, but every happy ending comes with a price. So years later, Evan is now a private investigator. He revisits the crime when he learns that this similar scheme may still be going on. He has to reach out to Noelle for help because they have to kind of team up to be able to figure out and get to the bottom of this kidnapping ring that is still happening. This is brutal, like major trigger warnings, pretty much every trigger warning under the sun. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Yet I really liked this book. 4 stars. I was up until the end, like, could not figure out how things were connected or how they were going to even figure out what was all behind all of this. And so really great read. I liked it. If you can handle brutal, I would suggest you read that one. Next one I picked up was Morewood Family Rules by Helen K. Diamond. I'm looking at my computer, making sure I get this right. This one is a random one I picked up from the library when I was there, which I love finding me some random reads. I had not heard about it. So we basically follow the Morewood family, and they are a family of con artists. They will do anything and everything for themselves, including conning money off of people, stealing artwork and selling it. Nothing is really off the table, and they've been this way for years. And our main character actually just gets released from prison where she did some time tied to, you know, their family's activities. And she's kind of come to the position of, you know what, enough is enough and we're done with this. So she comes home and has basically structured things where she now owns the house that they are all living in. And she's basically saying either you straighten up or you get out. And of course, like any good old-fashioned con artist family is going to do, they're not just going to take it. And so they're going to try to con the con artist. It's quite the wild ride. It is funny at times, but it also gets a bit slow at times. I gave it a 3.5. It's fine. It was a good like palate cleanser after reading something like this. But nothing that I would be like, I feel like it's forgettable. So if you're looking for something just a little easy in the middle, doesn't really necessarily have to be super heavy, can be a little quirky, I would suggest that book. It was good. And then I did the thing I've been resisting doing for, I don't know, quite some time. I picked up the book. I wasn't going to because I didn't want to read a book about dragons. But then my book club picked it for February. Fourth Wing February is what we're calling it. And I needed to get it done, so I picked it up towards the end of January thinking I needed some time because, you know, this is a big book. And I devoured it in like a week. I can understand the hype. Am I as like hyped and obsessed as, you know, maybe my friend Sarah is? No. But I do have Iron Flame behind me somewhere. Where is it? It's right there. And I need to know what happens because we are left with like a what at the very end of it. So for sure need to know that. I loved the curmudgeon of a dragon that is in here. I love our main characters. I love the romance. I didn't think I'd get as into a dragon book as I did, but I'm here for it. I did predict a couple of things, which I feel like kind of, you know, accomplished. Not all of them, but I predicted a few things. But I did enjoy it. I think I gave it 4 stars. Or did I give it 5? I gave it 5 because it deserves 5. But yeah, and I tabbed a couple things, more or less like theories I had that I wanted to come back to. And then of course, I mean, this is just a fabulous book of maps. So I had to come back to the map of the school a few times, the map of the kingdom a few times, and nothing too like phenomenal I tabbed, but more of a like reference to when they were explaining the different dragons and a reference to certain things that happened in the past. So, you know, a few tabs are in there. It was a good book. I obviously gave it 5 stars. I enjoyed it. It was, you know, pleasant surprise. I shouldn't have avoided the bandwagon for so long, but it did. And lots to talk about in book club in a week, I think we might. Then I picked up Cold People by Tom Rob Smith. This is one I heard about from Meredith on the Currently Reading podcast. She had me very intrigued by her kind of her own synopsis of it. Yet misled me slightly. So I gave it 3.5 stars. I'm getting really stingy with my star rating lately, guys. But so the premise, or it starts out with basically aliens invade Earth at the beginning and give everyone on the planet a proclamation, not a proclamation, a demand, basically. Like, if you want to survive, you can, but you have to move to Antarctica and you have 30 days to get there. And anybody who's not there, say goodbye. So it follows a couple of characters as they are making their way to Antarctica. It goes through this, like, what different countries did, how they approached it, how they prepared people, who they decided would go, how people got there. And then we get into, so we arrive there and then we kind of jump 20 years in the future. And I was like, wait a second, I want to know how things survive, which we do eventually come back to a little bit. And then it takes on this, like, how do we continue to ensure the human race continues to exist in an environment meant to kill it, basically. So definitely interesting, definitely outside of my normal genre. This is full on sci-fi. I loved the uniqueness about this story. There were times I got slightly bored because it got really sciencey. I liked the turn that it took. I wasn't completely prepared for the turn that it took. So I'm not sure. I don't know. This is one of those books where I don't know how I feel about it. I like it at moments and I don't like it at other moments. So if you're into a very unique sci-fi read that you're maybe not a normal sci-fi reader like I am, I would say pick it up and give it a try. I compare this to, like, Devolution, which is a little bit different for me to read. Dark Matter, a little bit different for me to read. You know, in those realms of different, yet enough that I can jump into the story and still be believable, if that makes sense at all. Hopefully it does. But yeah, 3.5 stars, maybe 3.75. Not quite a 4, but like not, it wasn't just okay. It was still better than okay. And different is all I can give you. So that's what I read. Those were the 6 books that I picked up in, what month? January. Oh yeah, I'm trying to forget about January already. I'm currently reading The Women by Kristen Hanna. That's her new book that is coming out. I'm listening to it. It is set during Vietnam. It is phenomenal and I'm loving it. And I'm already halfway through it and it's making me sad because the end is coming, but it's good. And then I just picked up this book yesterday. This is another book club book for me. This is 3 Hours by Rosamund Lumpton. This is, takes place over the course of 3 hours, involves a school shooting. It's tough. It's tough to read, but I'm really liking it so far. But we're only 50 pages into this, my friend. And then I'm not really sure where else to go and what else to pick up. I'm pretty clear in the month of February to kind of make it my own. So we'll see where I go from here. I would love a nice little fast-paced thriller again. I only really got one of those last month. Oh, kind of two. So I don't know as far as the TBR for February goes. I'm going to kind of keep it up in the air and do some really solid mood reading. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you have planned to read in February, or if there's any books you are excited you got to in the month of January, or even if you're just excited to survive January. Comment below, otherwise like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.